Everyone's lying to you about success. They tell you to work harder, grind longer, hustle more. But I'm here to tell you that's complete garbage. The most successful people I know work less than you do. They've discovered something that lazy people call a shortcut, but is actually the only path that works. While you're burning yourself out with 12-hour days, they're getting rich with just 1 hour. Let me tell you something that changed my life forever. And if you really listen today, it will change yours too. 1 hour, just one single hour of focused effort every day can transform everything about who you are and where you're going. Now I know what you're thinking. Jim, I've got bills to pay, kids to feed, a boss breathing down my neck. Where am I going to find this magical hour? Well, that's exactly the kind of thinking that keeps people stuck where they are. See, most people have it backwards. They think they need 8 hours of work to get ahead. They think they need to grind 18 hours a day. They think more time equals more results. But here's what I learned after years of studying successful people and watching failures repeat their mistakes. It's not about the quantity of time you put in. It's about the quality of focus you bring to that time. I remember when I was 25 years old, broke and wondering why some people seemed to have all the luck, while others, people just as smart as me, just as hardworking as me, stayed stuck in the same place year after year. That's when my mentor taught me something that sounds almost too simple to be true. He said, Jim, show me someone who can focus completely on one thing for 1 hour every day, and I'll show you someone who's going somewhere in life. Now, at first I thought he was crazy. 1 hour? That's it? I was working 10, 12 hours a day and getting nowhere. How could 1 hour make any difference? But then he explained something that hit me like a lightning bolt. He said, most people work 8 hours a day, but they're scattered. Their mind is in 10 different places. They're thinking about lunch while they're in a meeting. They're worried about their personal problems while they're supposed to be productive. They're checking their phone every 5 minutes. Not really working for 8 hours. They're barely working for 30 minutes of focused time in those 8 hours. That's when it clicked for me. The successful people I knew weren't necessarily working more hours than everyone else. They were working with more focus than everyone else. They had learned the secret of concentrated effort. They understood that 1 hour of complete, undivided attention on their most important goal was worth more than 8 hours of scattered, distracted activity. Think about it this way. If you take a magnifying glass and hold it over a piece of paper in the sunlight, nothing happens. The sun is shining, the glass is there, but nothing's burning. But if you focus that same sunlight through that same magnifying glass into one concentrated point and hold it steady, what happens? The paper catches fire. Same sun, same glass, but focused energy creates completely different result. That's what happens when you learn to focus your mental energy. Instead of spreading your thoughts and efforts across 20 different activities, you concentrate everything into one specific area for one specific hour. And just like that focused sunlight, your concentrated effort starts burning through obstacles that seemed impossible before. Now let me be clear about something. I'm not talking about working harder, I'm talking about working smarter. I am talking about the difference between motion and progress. You can be in motion all day long, running around, checking things off your list, feeling busy and important. But at the end of the day, ask yourself this question. Am I any closer to my dreams than I was this morning? If the answer is no, then you were in motion, but you weren't making progress. Progress comes from focused effort applied consistently over time. It comes from choosing one thing that matters most and giving it your complete attention for one uninterrupted hour every single day. Not 55 minutes with 5 minutes of checking your phone. Not an hour broken up into 10-minute chunks between other activities. One solid, concentrated, focused hour where your mind and your actions are working together on the same goal. Here's what most people don't understand about focus. They think it means working longer or working harder. But focus is actually about working less on more things and working more on fewer things. It's about subtraction, not addition. It's about saying no to everything that doesn't move you closer to your most important goal. I learned this lesson the hard way. When I first started in business, I thought success meant doing everything. I said yes to every opportunity, every meeting, every project. I was busy from morning until night. I felt important. I felt productive. But at the end of the year, I looked back and realized I hadn't made any real progress on the things that mattered most. I had been majoring in minor things. That's when I started experimenting with what I call the power of one. One goal, 1 hour, one commitment that I wouldn't break no matter what. I picked the most important thing I needed to accomplish, and I dedicated 1 hour every morning to working on just no phone calls, no emails, no interruptions. Just me and my most important goal for 60 focused minutes. The results were incredible. In that first month, I accomplished more toward my main objective than I had in the previous 3 months of scattered effort. Why? Because focused energy is exponentially more powerful than scattered energy. When you concentrate all your mental resources on one target, you don't just get better results. You get dramatically better results. But here's the part that really transformed my life. That 1 hour of focus didn't just affect that 1 hour. It affected the entire rest of my day. When you start your day with focused, purposeful action toward your most important goal, something changes in your brain. You feel more confident, you feel more in control, you feel like you're finally moving in the right direction. And that feeling carries over into everything else you do. You make better decisions. You waste less time on unimportant activities. You become more selective about how you spend your energy. 1 hour of focus creates a ripple effect that improves the quality of all your other hours. Now some of you are thinking, but Jim, I've tried to focus before and I can't do it. My mind wanders. I get distracted. I start thinking about other things. Well, let me tell you something. Focus is a skill, not a talent. It's something you develop, not something you're born with. And like any skill, it gets stronger with. When you first start trying to focus for a full hour, your mind is going to resist. It's been trained to jump from one thing to another. It's been conditioned to seek constant stimulation. It's going to feel uncomfortable to stay on one task for 60 straight minutes. That's normal. That's not a sign that you can't do it. That's a sign that you need to do it. Think of your focus like a muscle. If you've never exercised before, and I ask you to lift a 100-pound weight, you probably can't do it. But if you start with a lighter weight and gradually increase it over time, eventually you can lift that 100 pounds and more. Your focus works the same way. Start with what you can handle, maybe 15 or 20 minutes of concentrated effort, and gradually build up to a full hour. But here's the key. Whatever amount of time you choose, make it unbreakable. Don't say you'll focus for an hour and then give up after 30 minutes. Don't start with 15 minutes and then check your phone after 10. Make a commitment and keep it, even if it's uncomfortable, especially if it's uncomfortable. That discomfort is your focus muscle getting strong. The compound effect of this daily practice is what creates transformation. Most people want overnight success. They want to plant a seed on Monday and harvest the crop on Tuesday. But real success doesn't work that way. Real success comes from doing simple things consistently over time. It comes from understanding that small daily improvements compound into massive long-term results. If you get just 1% better at your most important skill every day for a year, you're not just 1% better at the end of the year. You're 37 times better. That's the power of compound improvement. But it only works if you're consistent. It only works if you show up every single day and put in that focused hour, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. See, here's what separates successful people from everyone else. Successful people do what they need to do, whether they feel like it or not. Unsuccessful people do what they feel like doing. Your feelings are not a reliable guide for your actions. Your feelings change based on the weather, what you had for breakfast, how much sleep you got last night. But your commitment to daily focused action should never change. This is why I always tell people, make your hour of focus non-negotiable. Treat it like the most important appointment of your day, because it is. Everything else in your life will improve when you master this one practice. Your income will improve because you'll be developing valuable skills. Your relationships will improve because you'll be more confident and fulfilled. Your health will improve because you'll have more energy and less stress. But it all starts with that 1 hour. that one commitment, that one daily practice that you refuse to break no matter what excuses your mind tries to give you. Now let's talk to you about what real focus actually looks like. Most people think they're focused when they're just concentrating. They sit down at their desk, they open their laptop, they start working on something important, but then a thought pops into their mind about something else they need to do. Instead of letting that thought pass and returning their attention to the task at hand, they grab a piece of paper and write themselves a note. Or they open another tab on their computer to quickly check something. Or they tell themselves they'll just spend 2 minutes organizing their desk first. That's not focus. That's scattered attention disguised as productivity. Real focus means when a distracting thought comes into your mind, you acknowledge it and let it go without acting on it. Real focus means when you feel the urge to check your phone. You don't. Real focus means when someone tries to interrupt you, you politely tell them you're unavailable right now. This is hard for people because we've been conditioned to respond immediately to every stimulus. Your phone buzzes, you check it. Someone calls your name, you look up. An email comes in, you read it. But every time you break your focus to respond to something that's not truly urgent, you're training your brain to be distractible. You're making it harder to concentrate the next time. The most successful people I know have learned to create what I call a focus fortress around their most important hour. They turn off their phone. They close their office door. They use noise-canceling headphones. They work in a place where they won't be interrupted. They've learned that protecting their focus time is just as important as the work they do during that time. But the environment is only part of it. The bigger part is internal. It's learning to control your own mind. It's developing the discipline to stay on task even when your brain wants to wander. It's building the mental strength to resist the urge to do something easier or more immediately gratifying. Here's a technique that helped me tremendously when I was developing my focus skills. Before I started my hour of concentrated work, I would spend 5 minutes writing down everything else that was on my mind. All the other tasks I needed to do, all the concerns I was worried about, all the ideas that kept popping up while I was trying to focus. I would write them all down on a piece of paper, and then I would tell myself, these things will still be here when my focus hour is over. Right now, for the next 60 minutes, there's only one thing that matters. This simple practice helped quiet my mind because I knew I wasn't forgetting anything important. I had captured all those other thoughts and concerns, so I could let them go for now and give my complete attention to my most important work. Another thing that helped was choosing the right kind of work for my focus hour. Not all tasks require the same level of concentration. Checking email, returning phone calls, organizing your desk, these are what I call low-focus activities. They need to be done, but they don't require deep thinking or creativity. Save these tasks for times when your mental energy is naturally lower. Your focus hour should be reserved for high-value activities that directly move you toward your most important goals. This might be learning a new skill that will increase your income. It might be working on a project that could transform your career. It might be developing a business plan, or writing a book or creating something that could change your life. The key is to choose something that's important but not urgent. Most people spend all their time on things that are urgent but not important. They're constantly putting out fires, responding to other people's priorities, dealing with crises that could have been prevented with better planning. But the things that really matter, the things that create lasting success and fulfillment, these are usually important but not urgent. And because they're not urgent, they get pushed aside day after day until weeks and months and years go by without any real progress. Your daily focus hour is how you make sure the important things don't get pushed aside. It's how you guarantee that every single day you're doing something meaningful to move your life forward. It's how you take control of your destiny instead of just reacting to whatever life throws at you. Now, I want to tell you about what happens when you make this a consistent practice, because the transformation doesn't happen overnight, but when it does happen, it's remarkable. In the first week, you're going to struggle, your mind will resist, you'll find excuses to skip your focus hour or cut it short. You'll convince yourself that today is different, that you have too many urgent things to handle, that you'll make up for it tomorrow. Don't listen to these excuses. They're not true. They're just your brain's way of avoiding the discomfort of sustained concentration. Push through that first week. Show up every day. Do your hour, even if it feels forced and uncomfortable, even if you don't accomplish as much as you hoped, even if your mind wanders and you have to keep bringing it back to the task. The goal in the first week is not perfection. The goal is consistency. By the second week, something starts to shift. The practice becomes a little easier. Your mind doesn't resist quite as much. You start to look forward to your focus hour because it's the one time in your day when you feel completely in control, completely purposeful. You start to see small improvements in the work you're doing during that time. By the fourth week, the practice becomes a habit. You don't have to force yourself to do it anymore. It becomes part of who you are. You become someone who has a daily focus practice. And that identity change is powerful because it affects everything else you do. By the 12th week, 3 months in, the results become undeniable. Whatever you've been working on during your daily focus hour has improved dramatically. If you've been learning a new skill, you're noticeably better at it. If you've been working on a project, you've made significant progress. If you've been building something, it's starting to take shape. But here's the most important part. By the 12th week, you're not the same person you were when you started. You're more disciplined. You're more confident. You're more focused in all areas of your life, not just during your focus hour. You've proven to yourself that you can commit to something important and follow through. And that proof changes how you see yourself and what you believe you're capable of. By the end of the first year, the transformation is complete. You've become someone who gets things done, someone who achieves goals, someone who turns ideas into reality. The daily practice of focused effort has rewired your brain and rebuilt your character. Let me give you a real example of how this works. I once knew a man who worked in middle management at a manufacturing company. He was good at his job, but felt stuck. He wanted to advance, but didn't know how. He had ideas for improving operations, but no one listened to him because he wasn't seen as a leader. I taught him about the power of one focused hour. He decided to spend 1 hour every morning before work studying everything he could about manufacturing efficiency and leadership. He read books, watched videos, took online courses. 1 hour every single day. In the first month, nothing seemed to change at work, but he was building knowledge and confidence. In the second month, he started speaking up more in meetings, offering ideas based on what he was learning. In the third month, his suggestions started getting implemented. By the 6th month, his boss was asking him to lead special projects. By the end of the year, he was promoted to a director position with a 40% salary. What changed? He was the same person working at the same company, but that 1 hour of daily focused learning had transformed his knowledge, his confidence, and his value to the organization. 1 hour a day for 1 year made him a completely different professional and changed the trajectory of his entire career. This is what's possible when you understand the power of focused effort applied consistently over time. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's the natural result of compound improvement. But here's what you have to understand. The transformation doesn't happen because of what you do during that 1 hour. The transformation happens because of who you become by committing to that 1 hour every single day. You become someone who keeps commitments to yourself. You become someone who invests in your own growth. You become someone who prioritizes what's important over what's urgent. And when you become that kind of person, everything in your life starts to improve. Your relationships improve because people respect someone who has discipline and follows through on their commitments. Your finances improve because you're constantly building valuable skills and creating new opportunities. Your health improves because the same discipline that helps you focus on important work also helps you make better choices about what you eat and how you exercise. The hour of our focus is just the beginning. It's the catalyst that starts a chain reaction of positive changes throughout your entire life. Now let's talk to you about how to set up your focus hour for maximum effectiveness because the details matter. When you do it, where you do it and how you prepare for it and make the difference between success and failure? First, timing. I recommend doing your focus hour first thing in the morning if at all possible. There are several reasons for this. Your mind is freshest in the morning. You haven't been drained by the decisions and stress of the day. You haven't been interrupted by other people's priorities and emergencies. And psychologically, when you accomplish something important first thing in the morning, it sets a positive tone for the entire rest of your day. I know some of you are thinking, but Jim, I'm not a morning person. Well, let me tell you something. There's no such thing as a morning person or a night person. There are only people who have trained themselves to be productive at certain times and people who haven't. You can train yourself to be effective in the morning just like you can train yourself to focus for an hour. It takes practice, but it's absolutely possible. If morning absolutely won't work for you, then choose another time when you can be consistent. The key is to pick the same time every day and stick to it. Your brain likes routine. When you do the same important activity at the same time every day, it becomes automatic. You don't have to use willpower to get started. You just do it because that's what you do at that time. Next, environment. You need a space where you can work without interruption. This might be your home office, a corner of your bedroom, a quiet coffee shop, or even your car if that's the only place you can be alone. It doesn't have to be fancy, but it has to be free from distractions. Remove everything that might tempt you to break your focus. Put your phone in another room, or at least turn it face down with all notifications off. Close unnecessary tabs on your computer. Clear your workspace of anything that doesn't relate to your focus hour activity. The more barriers you can create between yourself and potential distractions, the easier it will be to maintain concentration. Now, what should you work on during your focus hour? This is crucial because not all activities are created equal. You want to choose something that has the potential to create significant long-term impact in your life. Something that aligns with your most important goals and values. Here are some examples of high-value focus hour activities. If your goal is career advancement, you might spend your hour learning new skills that will make you more valuable to your employer or to the marketplace. If your goal is starting a business, you might spend your hour developing your business plan, creating your product, or building your marketing strategy. If your goal is improving your health, you might spend your hour meal planning, learning about nutrition, or developing an exercise routine. The key is to choose something that requires deep thinking and concentrated effort, something that you can't do effectively while multitasking or dealing with interruptions, something that builds on itself over time so that each day's work adds to what you did the day before. Avoid using your focus hour for administrative tasks like checking email, paying bills, or organizing your desk. These things need to be done, but they don't require deep focus and they don't create compound results. Save your hour of concentrated attention for activities that have the potential to transform your life. Here's another important point. Your focus hour should be challenging but not overwhelming. If you choose something too easy, you won't feel a sense of accomplishment and you won't grow. If you choose something too difficult, you'll get frustrated and quit. Find that sweet spot where you're stretching yourself but still making progress. As you get better at focusing and as you make progress on your chosen activity, you can gradually increase the difficulty. Maybe you start by reading one chapter of a business book during your focus hour. After a few weeks, you might add taking notes and writing a summary. After a few months, you might start creating action plans based on what you're learning. The activity evolves as you evolve. Also, be prepared for resistance. Your brain is going to come up with all kinds of reasons why you should skip your focus hour or work on something else instead. It's going to tell you that you don't have time today, that you have more urgent things to handle, that you're too tired or too stressed, that you'll make up for it tomorrow. These are lies. Not intentional lies, but lies nonetheless. They're your brain's way of avoiding the discomfort of sustained mental effort. When these thoughts come up, and they will, don't argue with them. Don't try to convince yourself why they're wrong. Just acknowledge them and do your focus hour anyway. When you become someone who always follows through on commitments to yourself, You develop an unshakable confidence that affects everything you do. You know that if you decide to do something, it will get done. You know that if you set a goal, you'll achieve it. You know that if you start something, you'll finish it. This kind of self-trust is the foundation of all success. Let me tell you about the ripple effects of your daily focus hour, because this is where the real magic happens. When you start your day with purposeful, concentrated action toward your most important goal, it changes how you approach everything else. You become more selective about how you spend your time. You start asking yourself, is this activity moving me closer to my goals or further away from them? You become less likely to get caught up in busy work or other people's priorities. You develop a stronger sense of what matters and what doesn't. You make better decisions throughout the day. When you've already accomplished something meaningful before most people are even awake, you feel more confident and in control. This positive feeling influences every choice you make. You're more likely to choose the healthy meal over the junk food. You're more likely to have the difficult conversation instead of avoiding it. You're more likely to invest your time in activities that serve your long-term interests. You become more resilient to setbacks and challenges. When you know you're making daily progress on your most important goals, temporary obstacles don't derail you like they used to. You have perspective. You know that as long as you keep showing up for your focus hour, you're moving in the right direction, even if everything else seems to be going wrong. Other people start to notice changes in you. They see that you're more focused, more purposeful, more confident. They start coming to you for advice. They start including you in important conversations and decisions. Your reputation improves because people can sense that you're someone who gets things done. This creates new opportunities that wouldn't have existed before. You might be offered a promotion because your boss sees your increased effectiveness. You might be invited to join a project because colleagues respect your newfound discipline. You might attract new clients or customers because people want to work with someone who has their act together. All this stems from that 1 hour of daily focus. It's like dropping a pebble in a pond. The initial impact is small, but the ripples spread out and affect everything around them. Now, let me address some of the challenges you're going to face as you try to implement this practice, because I want you to be prepared. The biggest challenge is consistency. It's easy to be motivated for a few days or even a few weeks, but motivation fades. What you need is a system that works even when you don't feel motivated, even when you're tired, stressed, busy, or dealing with problems. This is why I emphasize making your focus hour non-negotiable. It's not something you do when you feel like it. It's something you do because it's who you are. It's part of your identity as someone who invests in their own growth and follows through on commitments. Another challenge is perfectionism. Some people think that if they can't do a perfect hour of focus, there's no point in doing it at all. They skip their practice because they only have 45 minutes available, or because they're not feeling mentally sharp, or because they know they'll probably get interrupted. This is backward thinking. An imperfect hour of focus is infinitely better than no hour of focus. 45 minutes of concentrated effort is better than 0 minutes. Even if you get interrupted twice during your hour, you're still building the habit and making progress. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Show up and do what you can with what you have. Consistency is more important than perfection. You'll also face external resistance. Other people might not understand why you're suddenly unavailable during your focus hour. They might think you're being antisocial or difficult. They might try to guilt you into abandoning your practice by saying things like, "You used to be more flexible," or "It's just this once." Stay strong. Remember that most people don't have clear goals or disciplined practices, so they don't understand why yours is important. You don't need their permission or their approval to invest in your own growth. Be polite but firm about protecting your focus time. Here's something else that will happen. As you start making progress during your focus hour, you'll be tempted to expand it. You'll think if 1 hour is good, 2 hours must be better. Resist this temptation, at least in the beginning. The goal is not to maximize the time you spend on focused work. The goal is to build a sustainable practice that you can maintain for years. It's better to do 1 hour consistently for a year than to do 3 hours for a month and then burn out. Once you've mastered the 1 hour practice and it's become a solid habit, then you can consider expanding it, but not before. Build your foundation first. Now let me tell you about the long-term impact of this practice, because that's where the real transformation happens. After 1 year of daily focused effort, you won't just be better at whatever skill or project you've been working on. You'll have developed what I call a success mindset. You'll have proven to yourself that you can set a goal and achieve it through consistent daily action. You'll have built the mental discipline to do difficult things, even when you don't feel like doing them. You'll have created momentum that carries over into other areas of your life. This is when many people decide to add a second focus hour to their day. Maybe they spend 1 hour on professional development and another hour on health and fitness, or 1 hour on their side business and another hour on learning a new language. The first hour taught them how to focus, and now they can apply that skill to multiple areas of their life. But even if you never expand beyond 1 hour, the compound effects continue to build. Year 2 brings even more dramatic results than year 1. Year 3 is even better. By year 5, you've become an expert in whatever you've been focusing on. You've developed a level of knowledge and skill that sets you apart from 99% of other people. Think about it this way. If you spend 1 hour a day for 5 years focused on becoming better at your profession, that's over 1,800 hours of deliberate practice. That's equivalent to working full-time on your professional development for almost a year. Imagine how much better you'd be at your job if you spent a full year doing nothing but studying and practicing your craft. That's the power of daily focused effort compounded over time. It turns average people into experts. It turns good professionals into leaders. It turns dreams into reality. But here's the most important thing I want you to understand. The transformation isn't just about what you accomplish during your focus hour. It's about who you become by committing to this practice. You become someone who values growth over comfort. Someone who invests in the future instead of just reacting to the present. Someone who takes responsibility for their own success instead of waiting for opportunity to knock. You develop what I call an internal locus of control. You stop blaming external circumstances for your lack of progress. You stop making excuses about why you can't achieve your goals. You take control of what you can control, which is your daily actions and your response to whatever life throws at you. This mindset shift affects every area of your life. Your relationships improve because you stop trying to change other people and start focusing on being the best version of yourself. Your finances improve because you stop waiting for someone else to give you a raise and start building skills that increase your value. Your health improves because you stop making excuses about not having time to exercise and start taking responsibility for your physical well-being. When you control your focus, you control your life. When you master 1 hour a day, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Now I want to talk to you about something that most people never consider when they think about focus. They think focus is just about the work itself. But there's something much deeper happening when you commit to this daily practice. You're actually rewiring your relationship with difficulty. Most people run from difficulty. When something gets hard, they quit. When they encounter resistance, they give up. When they face a challenge that requires sustained effort, they look for an easier path. But successful people have learned to embrace difficulty. They understand that difficulty is not something to be avoided. It's something to be pursued. Your daily focus hour is where you learn this lesson. Every single day, you're going to face the difficulty of sustained concentration. Your mind is going to want to wander. Your body is going to want to get up and do something easier. Your emotions are going to tell you that you're not in the mood. And every single day, you're going to push through that difficulty and do the work anyway. This daily practice of pushing through difficulty transforms you at a cellular level. You literally become a different person. Someone who doesn't back down when things get tough. Someone who doesn't make excuses when the path gets steep. Someone who sees obstacles as opportunities to grow stronger. I learned this lesson from a farmer I met many years ago. He told me something that changed how I think about hard work. He said, Jim, most people think the harvest is the reward for planting seeds, but that's not the real reward. The real reward is who you become by tending the crop every single day, regardless of the weather. That farmer understood something profound. The external results of your efforts are nice, but they're not the most important thing. The most important thing is the internal transformation that happens when you show up consistently, especially when you don't want to. Think about it this way. Let's say you commit to spending 1 hour every day learning a new language. At the end of a year, yes, you'll speak that language better than you did before. That's valuable. But what's even more valuable is that you'll have become someone who keeps commitments to themselves. Someone who can stick with something difficult for an entire year. Someone who can delay gratification and work toward long-term goals. Those character traits are worth more than any single skill you could learn. They're transferable to every area of your life. They're the foundation of all achievement and success. This is why I always tell people that the goal of your focus hour isn't just to get better at whatever you're working on. The goal is to get better at being human, to develop the qualities that separate successful people from everyone else. Discipline, persistence, the ability to do what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. Most people are slaves to their emotions. If they feel motivated, they work hard. If they don't feel motivated, they don't. If they feel confident, they take action. If they feel uncertain, they procrastinate. Their actions are completely dependent on their emotional state. But emotions are unreliable. They change based on circumstances that are often completely outside your control. The weather, your health, what someone said to you, how much sleep you got, what you ate for breakfast. If you're waiting to feel like doing something important, you'll be waiting forever. Your daily focus hour teaches you to act independently of your emotions, to do what you committed to do, regardless of how you feel. This is one of the most valuable skills you can develop because it makes you reliable to yourself and to others. When people know that you'll do what you say you're going to do, regardless of circumstances, they trust you with bigger and better opportunities. When you know that you'll follow through on your commitments to yourself, you gain the confidence to set bigger goals and take on greater challenges. Let me tell you about another aspect of focus that most people miss. They think focus is about elimination, about saying no to distractions, and that's part of it. But true focus is also about amplification. It's about taking your natural talents and abilities and concentrating them like a laser beam. Everyone has something they're naturally good at, some gift or ability that comes easier to them than to most other people. But most people scatter this natural talent across too many different activities. They're good at everything but great at nothing. Your focus hour gives you the opportunity to take whatever you're naturally good at and become exceptional at it. To go from being good to being great to being world class. And when you become world class at something, opportunities start appearing that you never imagined were possible. I once knew a woman who was naturally good with numbers. She could do calculations in her head that most people needed a calculator for. But she was working as a general office administrator using her mathematical ability maybe 10% of the time. She was good at her job, but she wasn't using her gift to its full potential. I encourage her to spend 1 hour every day studying advanced financial analysis and investment strategies. She thought I was crazy. She said, Jim, I don't know anything about finance or investing. I told her, you know numbers, and that's the hardest part. Everything else can be learned. She committed to the practice. 1 hour every morning before work, studying financial markets, learning about different investment strategies, understanding how to analyze company performance. It was difficult at first because the concepts were new to her. But her natural mathematical ability gave her an advantage. She could see patterns and relationships that others missed. After 6 months, she started managing her own investment portfolio and getting better returns than most professional advisors. After a year, people started asking her for advice about their investments. After 2 years, she left her administrative job and started her own financial consulting practice. Today, she's one of the most respected financial advisors in her city, earning 5 times what she made as an administrator. What changed? She took her natural gift with numbers and focused it like a laser beam on one specific area. She went from being good at math to being exceptional at financial analysis, and that transformation opened up possibilities she never could have imagined when she was scattered across general office tasks. This is what happens when you combine natural ability with focused effort over time. You don't just get better, you get exponentially better. You go from being one of many to being one of few to being one of a kind. But here's the thing, you don't have to start with a natural gift. Focus can turn anyone into an expert at anything if they're willing to put in the time and effort. Malcolm Gladwell wrote about the 10,000-hour rule. The idea that it takes about 10,000 hours of deliberate practice to become an expert at something, that sounds like a lot, doesn't it? 10,000 hours. But let's break it down. If you practice something for 1 hour every day, 10,000 hours equals about 27 years. That seems overwhelming. But remember, you don't need to become a world-class expert to dramatically improve your life. You just need to become significantly better than you are right now. 1,000 hours of focused practice will make you better than 90% of people at any skill. 1,000 hours is less than 3 years of daily practice. That's achievable. That's reasonable. That's something any person can commit to if they really want to change their life. And here's something most people don't realize. You don't have to wait until you've put in your 1,000 hours to start seeing benefits. You'll see improvement after your first week. You'll see significant improvement after your first month. You'll see dramatic improvement after your first year. The compound effect of daily practice means that every single day you're getting better, even if the improvement is so small you can't see it. But those tiny daily improvements add up to massive changes over time. This is why patience is so important. Most people want results immediately. They want to see dramatic changes after a few days or weeks of effort. When they don't see those immediate results, they give up. They assume the practice isn't working. But that's like planting a seed and expecting to see fruit the next day. Growth takes time. Real lasting transformation happens slowly and then all at once. You put in months of consistent effort with seemingly little to show for it, and then suddenly people start noticing how much you've changed. Suddenly opportunities start appearing. Suddenly you realize you've become someone completely different from who you were when you started. The key is to focus on the process, not the results. Fall in love with the daily practice itself. Find satisfaction in the act of showing up and doing the work, regardless of what you accomplish during any single session. Some days your focus hour will be incredibly productive. You'll feel sharp and motivated and you'll get a lot done. Other days you'll feel foggy and distracted and you'll struggle to accomplish anything meaningful. Both kinds of days are important. The productive days show you what's possible. The difficult days build your character. Never judge the value of your practice based on any single day. Judge it based on the long-term trend. Are you more focused today than you were 6 months ago? Are you more disciplined? Are you making progress towards your goals? Are you becoming the kind of person you want to be? These are the questions that matter. And let me leave you with this final thought. Right now, as you're listening to this, you have a choice to make. You can nod your head and agree with everything I've said, but then continue doing what you've always done. Or you can make a commitment to start your daily focus practice tomorrow morning. Now next week when things calm down, not next month when you're more organized, tomorrow, because the perfect time to start will never come. There will always be something else going on. There will always be reasons to wait. The only time you can start is now. Pick one thing that's important to your future. One skill you want to develop, one project you want to complete, one goal you want to achieve. Commit to spending one focused hour on it every single day for the next month. Just 30 days. If it doesn't make a difference in your life, you can go back to doing things the way you've always done them. But I'll tell you what's going to happen. After 30 days, you won't want to go back. You'll have tasted what it feels like to be in control of your destiny. You'll have experienced the satisfaction of daily progress towards something meaningful. You'll have built a habit that will serve you for the rest of your life. 1 hour, one commitment, one life-changing decision. The choice is yours. The time is now. Your transformation starts tomorrow morning. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Don't wait for motivation. Just start. Your future self is counting on you to make this commitment today. Don't let him down. Don't let yourself down. The power to change your life is in your hands. Use it.